Today's Spotlight is brought to you in part by presenting sponsor, First Community Financial Bank, the community bank where you come first. Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm your host, Jane Wernette. I'm joined now by Chad Pedigo, Special Event Manager for Bridge Communities, and Bobby Josiah, Director of Youth Ministries at Our Saviour's Lutheran. So welcome to the set.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you. Chad, we've had you before, and Bobby, it's super nice to have you joining us.
Thank you.
So we're going to start out with you, Chad, and we're going to talk a little bit about Bridge Communities, one of the largest programs here in DuPage County for helping homeless people transition. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Bridge Communities provides transitional housing, and we do so for a 2-year period for families specifically. That's parents, typically a single parent in most cases, with children who are trying to break free of that cycle of poverty. And so we have about 150 apartments currently spread across DuPage County where families can come to for a 2-year period to really transform their lives and work through a lot of our programs and work on being able to recover and restore their families so they can go on to be successful and self-sufficient.
And I think it's so nice when you talk a lot about transforming, and we've talked about it before. It's that, the 2 years, it's a really nice solid commitment because it's hard to get anything done in a really short period of time. So 2 years provides that, but it's also that notion of adding more than just a roof over my head, right? And you have a lot of programming that you use. So talk a little bit about some of the programming that you offer.
Oftentimes we focus on employment and education. Those are 2 key criteria to help improve a person's ability to be self-sufficient. So that could be working with programs on resumes, job placement, improving education. We work with a lot of partners throughout the community on different needs and different assessments. So that allows us to really determine what are the key success factors that are going to allow the families to be as successful as possible. Oftentimes we partner with local organizations such as Loaves and Fishes and the Community Career Center, Samaritan Interfaith, often guests that you've had here on your show to figure out what it is that we can do for that family that helps them break free from homelessness and really be successful in their futures.
And I think that's so nice. It's that collaboration. It's
Truly.
the coming together to support, because often when you find yourself in that situation, you're in need of more than just a roof over your head.
Absolutely.
So there's lots of other pieces that go with that.
And that's where the true transformation begins to come from. It's not just providing shelter. Shelter and food are basic needs and absolutely essential, but this program goes beyond that. So there's really a key focus in that 2-year time frame to really change the life of the family, both the parents and the children, so they can go on to experience the rest of their lives feeling success and being happy and hopefully never experiencing homelessness again in their lifetime.
I think that's wonderful. It's a wonderful program that you do. And now, Bobby, you've been involved with, Our Saviour's has been involved with Bridge Communities for a while, right?
Yes.
So talk a little bit about some of the ways that you've been involved.
Sure. Our Saviour's has been involved with Bridge Communities since 2003. We've been sponsoring families and kind of mentoring them through that program. This year we're sponsoring 2 families and working with them. But the way that the youth really get involved in making a difference is through Sleep Out Saturday.
And now that's coming up, right, on November 5th. So talk a little bit about how your youth ministry gets involved with that.
Yeah, well, the youth, every year we sleep out on the front of our lawn at our celebration building. And it's a cold night. Gets really cold. We put our boxes out there. We do activities throughout the night that really help show awareness for the youth and get them involved in that. And the most important part that makes the biggest impact on the kids is the sleeping out part. We climb into our boxes and our sleeping bags, and it gets just so cold, and you really become vulnerable. You're sleeping on the corner of a street, and you hear people walking by, and cars and sirens, and it just really makes you aware of what people go through. And we wake up in the morning and we're cold and we're tired and we're hungry, and we seek work. We try and make it as real as possible for our kids, and for us that work comes in the form of helping people and random acts of kindness. So we go throughout the neighborhood and rake leaves. And for us, it's not just about raising the money, but it's also about raising awareness. So we come back to church and we spread the word and just talk about our night and share that with the community.
I think that's really lovely. I mean, you talked very much there about it's the raising the awareness. Obviously, that's very important. And I think more so than ever in Naperville, we are becoming more aware that that is not something that happens someplace else. It happens right here in our own community. But the other thing you talked about was that sort of building that empathy, that the young folks really start to understand what that might look and feel like, and then hopefully hopefully then commit more to trying to help avoid that. Now, you talked a little bit, and Chad, I want to ask you about this, raising the money, because I think that's an important part. I think people have seen Sleep Out Saturday Night. They know the kids and families are sometimes out there, but it is an important part to raise some money for you as well.
It is, most certainly. So Sleep Out Saturday is the largest fundraiser that Bridge Communities is a part of each year, and being that first Saturday in November, it's a little cold, so obviously there's a little bit of effort that really goes into it. And so anyone that wants to participate can join us on our website. You don't even have to be right here in Naperville. You can be anywhere in the county, you can be anywhere in the world, but you can sign up to Sleep Out to give up those comforts of a safe and warm bed for one night, and it enlists you on our fundraising page. So you've got a fundraising page on the website that you can share with friends, family, using social media. We also have some tools that you can use to go and fundraise around your neighborhoods and in your community. And every single dollar that's raised goes directly to housing those homeless families. So all of the costs are covered by gracious sponsors that help us do it. And then with those sponsorships covering the costs, we know that every single dollar earned, the contributions that the sleepers are raising during their time outside, is going to really help make a difference in the lives of the homeless families.
Well, and I think that's kind of nice. I mean, if I can only imagine as you're out there and it is super cold, and I think you mentioned an important word, safe, and that feeling of vulnerability, like you said, Bobby. But that sense that, you know, if I've raised that money, then somebody else isn't experiencing that. That's a very powerful message. So we can do that on your website, right? We can just go directly there and sign up. Okay, all right.
And you think of it this way, you're giving up the comforts and securities one night so families won't have to for the rest of their nights. It's one evening and it's a tough one, but it makes a huge difference.
Okay. Now, Bobby, you're in charge of a lot of young people, so if I were going to sleep out and I had people that were going to sleep out with me, what would you recommend to them? How would they best prepare for that?
Definitely dress in layers, wear a hat, keep the warmth in. And one thing that we like to do is put a tarp underneath our box just to separate yourself from the ground. And some people like to cover with the tarp. The frost sets in, but when that frost sets in, your tape will peel off, so don't use duct tape.
Okay. Is one of the only things that duct tape doesn't work on?
No.
Okay.
No. Packing tape.
Packing tape. Okay, that's interesting. I would not have guessed that. That's interesting. Okay. So Chad, as we wrap up 2016 and we look ahead to 2017, what's there for Bridge Communities? What are you trying to accomplish?
Absolutely. So the Transitional Housing Program has expanded here in Naperville. That's a key thing that we've been focused on, is growing at a strategic pace to be able to serve as many families as possible. DuPage County Schools identified in the most recent school year there were over 1,600 kids that were homeless. So we know the need is ever present, and there's an invisible homeless culture that's out there of families that are seeking homes, seeking shelters that we're looking to assist. So by adding these additional housing units, we're now close to 50 families that can find shelter in our transitional housing program, and eventually in time break free from the cycle of homelessness and be able to go on being contributing members to our community. Well, which is really what we're focused on.
It's a great cause. Obviously, you've got good partners. I wish you the best for November 5th. I hope it's cold enough, because that's an important part of that experience, but not too cold. So thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. If you would like to find out more about the many ways you can help the local homeless families transform their lives and regain their independence, please visit the Bridge Communities website. We're going to take a quick break, but stay tuned. We're coming right back with more Spotlight.